Hi friends, so we have studied how to love chemistry in the before classes, and as you know, as per the new syllabus of CBSE, we will be having 3 chapters in chemistry. Okay, that is matter around us pure, atoms and molecules, and structure of atoms. Okay, so these are the 3 chapters which we want to study in this year. Okay, so today we will be starting the new chapter, atoms and molecules. That is the 3rd chapter in your textbook, atoms and molecules. Okay, so if you have gone through the video, if you have studied, or if you have gone through the chapter or the previous classes, the 2 classes, you might have got some basic ideas about chemistry, some basic ideas, how chemical equations are written, how chemical reactions are happening, what is valency, how the 2 atoms or 2 compounds are combining together, how compound is formed, etc. So those are the important things which you want to understand when we are studying chemistry. Those are the important things. Okay, so this chemistry subject or the branch of chemistry, it's all dealing with reactions, and these reactions, what are undergoing reactions? These atoms are undergoing reactions. So today we will be studying what are atoms. What are atoms? The history of atoms. Okay, so in the beginning or in the earlier times, no such ideas were there for the scientists about this chemistry or what are atoms or what are things. They didn't know anything. They were observing the nature. The scientists were observing the nature. From the nature, from the observations, they came to some conclusions. Okay, these conclusions are later been formulated into some laws, and today we are studying their conclusions, their formulations has been studied by us. And also today also there are a lot of research going on in this field of chemistry to find out new inventions. Okay, so from the history, if we have studied, or if you go through the historical pages, you will understand that this atom, the history of atom begins with a Rishi, a Maharishi Kanad from India. Maharishi Kanad from India. That means he was detailed in studying what is the matter made up of. He wanted to understand the idea behind matter. I am holding a pen. Okay, this laptop, this board, this chalk, whatever it is, these matter, these particles, this matter is made up of some particles. Okay, and he wanted to understand the idea behind this, how this matter is compiled of, how it is combining together. Okay, so he wanted to study the basic, he wanted to study the platform from where the matter is made up of. So what he did, he started to divide the huge matter into smaller pieces. Okay, that means a big huge block is being divided into smaller, cut into small pieces. Maximum to the maximum he started to divide a huge block, a huge particle, a huge matter into smaller pieces. And a stage came when the smaller particle which is cut into small piece, that could not be cut into further smaller piece, further smaller unit. The smallest unit which could not be cut into further smallest unit, he called it as Kanam. Maharishi Kanad called it as Kanam. Okay, in Malayalam itself, Kanam means the smallest unit. So this Kanam was the forefather of atom. That means the name Kanam was the forefather of the name atom. The concept was same. And who gave this atom, atomio, atom? The name was given by Greek scientist, the Greek philosopher called Democritus. Democritus also was studying on this matter particles, and he also wanted at the same time when the Maharishi Kanad was studying on this matter particles, on this smallest particle with which every matter is made up of. At the same time, Democritus, a Greek philosopher, he was also studying, he was also researching, he was also examining the matter particles and with which these matter particles are made up of. And he also came to a conclusion that every matter is made up of smaller particles, smallest unit called atom. He didn't say like that, they haven't compiled any formula or law like that, but they understood that for each and every matter it is made up of smallest particle called atoms. Using this smallest particle, one atom will be there, another atom will be there, another atom will be there. These atoms, that means which cannot be divided further. The atoms are smaller units which can't be divided into further smaller units. That means it is the basic unit of matter. Basic unit of matter, as you have studied in biology, cell. Cell is the basic unit of our human body. Each cell will combine together to form different DNA, chromosome, etc. different organs. Okay. So likewise, these particles, these smaller particles will combine together to form what? Larger matter. This chalk is made up of atoms. Millions and millions of atoms are combining together to form this piece of chalk. That is the same case with the pen you use. That is the same case with the paper piece you use. Millions and millions. The hair which we have, it's also having millions and millions of atoms. Clear? Okay. So atom is the smallest unit. We can't think of the size of atom. That means we can't even imagine the size of atom. That much small is the size of atom. We can't see with the eyes. We have to use higher technological instruments to visualize or to understand the size of the atom. Clear? Okay. So every matter is made up of smaller, indivisible. That means we cannot divide it further. Smaller, indivisible particles called atoms. Okay, so Maharishi Kanad and Democritus are the ones who gave the idea that all the matter is made up of some smaller indivisible particles. They called it as atomio and they called it as kanam, etc. Then with this idea, the later scientists, the scientists who came after Democritus and Kanad, okay, they started to elaborate this idea. They wanted to study more. They started to study more on this idea. And then came later scientists called Anthony Lavoisier, then John Dalton, Dalton's atomic theory, etc. So they were all studying about this atom. That means chemistry started with the study of atoms. From the study of atoms, there came the study of atomic theories, the structure of atoms, then comes the combination, the reactions, the equations, the compound is formed. Is that clear? Okay, so atom is very important for us in chemistry. Okay, so the history of atom started from Kanad and Democritus. They gave the idea that all the matter is made up of some kind of indivisible particles. They called it as atomio or Kanad, atom, Kanad, etc. But they were not very sure. They were not very sure to produce the laws, okay, the theories. But they gave the idea, they gave the instinct. Okay, if we think in that way, then how can we study it more? That was the platform for other scientists to study more, to examine, to research more on this topic. Then came Lavoisier, Dalton, etc. And J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, which we will be studying it in the next classes. Okay, they all started to give ideas. They all started to give the contributions from their part. They wanted to give some contribution from their part. Okay, and then they started to examine in different 360-degree dimensions. They started to examine a lot of examinations, a lot of observations. Then they gave their contributions to this field. Okay, so chemistry starts with this atom. Okay, I hope the atom concept is clear. For those who haven't understood it more clearly, one more example I will give. When we are constructing a building, how we are constructing it? Using bricks. We will combine different bricks in different positions, and thus a huge building is formed. So this one single brick, one single stone or one single brick is called an atom of that building. That means that brick is the building block of that building. This is the basic unit of that building, is that brick. Likewise, atom is the building blocks of matter. Atom is the building block of matter. They are indivisible. That is what the first scientists found out. They are the smallest unit of matter, universe. The universe is made up of whatever things we find out in the universe, it is made up of atom. Okay, it is the smallest unit, it is a building block. I hope it's clear. I hope it is very much clear. Okay, so now the matter I have told you, it is made up of atoms, and how these atoms combine together, that was the later point of study, point of research for the scientists. How these atoms combine together, and they started to study, they started to find out some rules for the combination of atoms. Okay, thus came Anthony Lavoisier. He came up with laws of combination. Laws of combination of what? Laws of combination of atoms. Laws of combination of atoms. Anthony Lavoisier came out with laws of combination of atoms. Okay, what was laws of combination of atoms? There are two laws of combination of atoms. There are two laws of combination of atoms. Okay, these two laws of combination of atom. One is, first law is that means I have told you, atom, the matter is made up of atoms. How these atoms are combining together, they are following certain rules or certain laws. With following that laws only, they will be forming, they will be combining. Okay, so Anthony Lavoisier suggested two laws of combination of atom. First law is law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. What does this law of conservation of mass states? I'll say the law first. That is, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. It can be converted from one form to another. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. It can be converted from one form to another. Okay, this is law of conservation of mass. I will explain it. That is, there are two atoms, they want to combine. Okay, there are two atoms, they want to combine. Initially, this atom A is having a mass Ma, this is having a mass Mb. Okay, and they are combining together. That means when they are combining together, what will happen? Atoms is combined. The combination of atoms are called as reactions. That is what our introductory class said. Combination of atoms are called reactions. So whenever reaction happens, the mass initially which was present, they will react and they will form AB. A product AB is formed. Then the mass which was present, it should be totally present in the Ma plus Mb. It should be totally present in the product. The single individual mass of both the reactants should be totally present in the product. That means the mass cannot be destroyed. We can't destroy mass. Whatever was there at the beginning of the universe, the whole thing will be there at the end of the universe. But what is happening? The mass which was present in some form, it is being converted into another form. That is what law of conservation of mass says. For explaining it in more detail or more clearly, I will discuss something else. Okay, that means today what we are using in vehicles, for the smooth running of vehicles, we are using petrol, isn't it? The petrol, when we are using this petrol in the vehicle, what is happening? The vehicle will, the engine will start working, it will emit smoke and it will move, isn't it? Okay, so the vehicle uses petrol. From where the petrol comes? So let us take the story of the petrol from the beginning. There were a lot of animals and plants in the earlier era. Okay, you have studied dinosaur age and all, early ages. So these plants and animals, they die. Okay, so how they, before that, from the sunlight, the plants and animals will gain energy from the sunlight and they will grow. Okay, so when they are growing, we will think that they are growing alone. No, they are growing by taking the sunlight, they are taking the water from the soil, by taking minerals from the soil. So whatever was present, it is being converted, it is being accumulated by the plant and it grows. And what will happen? These plants will be eaten upon by whom? The animals, and these animals will also grow, isn't it? So if we think that when the animal is eating the plant is gone, the mass of the plant is gone, if we think like that, it is wrong, because the mass is being converted into food and energy for the animals, isn't it? So the mass is not destroyed, it is converted into another form. And after that, sometimes after some years, the animal passes away, means it dies. Then what will happen? It will be going into the earth's surface. So we will think that the mass of the animal is gone. No, the mass of the animal, it is being it is deposited into the earth's surface. They will be converted into fossil fuels. They will be converted into fossil fuels, and then these fossil fuels will be extracting from the earth. After millions and millions of years, we will be extracting it from earth. Okay. After we extract it, we will get it as petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. We will be using it to burn the candles, burn the lamps, or in order to run the vehicles, etc. When we use petrol and when we run it, we think that the mass of the petrol is reduced, isn't it? But what is happening? The smoke, the carbon dioxide, carbon, oxygen, atoms, carbon dioxide, sulfur, means what? The smoke is being emitted into the earth's surface. So the sunlight from the beginning, the sun, and from the earth, oxygen, water, hydrogen, these things were accumulated by the plants. These same things is being emitted into the earth's surface as carbon dioxide, hydrogen gas, etc. into the earth's surface after millions and millions of years. So from the beginning, what was there, that thing is being converted into different forms, and at last it came back into the initial stage after millions of years. So the mass is not destroyed. The mass is not destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. That is first law of combination. That is laws of conservation of mass. And the second law states that it is law of constant proportion. Law of constant proportion. And what does it state? The law of constant proportion states that in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in constant proportion. That means in water, always water, hydrogen is in the ratio 2:1 with oxygen. In carbon dioxide, CO2, carbon is in the ratio 1:2 with oxygen. That means whatever compound is present in this universe, it will have constant proportion. The carbon dioxide or the water molecule which we take from India and from America, they both will have same proportion, that is 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. There is no difference that from India it is having some proportion, in Australia it is having another proportion. No, whatever compound is present in the universe, they will be always having same proportion. Okay, any element present in the universe, it will always have equal or constant proportion. Okay, these are the 2 laws of combination. Using these 2 laws of combination, the atoms were combining. The atoms were combining with respect to these 2 laws of combination. This is what Anthony Lavoisier stated. Okay, thank you.